report. Any questions on it?
I wanted to, go ahead and show y'all something on the general fund. Last month I had a transfer to general fund, which was kind of a weird line item, and I told y'all it was the fire department CD. I went back through and reallocated it under equipment expense for the fire department, because that's where it was budgeted in. So when you look and see, you know, the year to date on that's why that's so high, 20,000, and that is that CD. I just wanted y'all to know where I'd moved that to.
On the mayor's report, couple of weeks ago when we went to Army surplus, Junior and Stephen and I, we found the tractor. And it's a case, it's a 34 horse gasoline motor, it's got turf tires on it. You can't tell anything about them down there, but Fred's been down there before. You have to kinda take a chance on something. They had a $2,000 price tag on it, and I got the man to go over there with me, and I said, can you get it any cheaper than that? And we went over there and he looked at it and he said he'd sell it to us for $1,000. So we went last Wednesday and picked it up. It's down at the Kerr building, and Junior and I worked on it last Thursday, and it started, runs like top. Starts easy. And Junior has ordered a book. We've got a problem with the power steering. We've got to work on it. But it seems like it's gonna be a pretty good tractor. We've got it for about a sweeper behind.
And you use on the ball field.
And use on the ball field with those turf tires.
It'll work great.
We borrowed the tractor with the turf tires. That's another thing on the ballpark is they're playing on it now. Both parks has got the field conditioner on it. Jackie worked up there, or Jackie was up there Monday and Tuesday of last week, and I talked to Josh. He had girls out there practicing on it. He said, I hate to be the first one out here to mess it up. He said, oh, this is smooth.
Yeah.
He said, it's gonna have to get adjusted to the ball rolling through rather than bouncing.
Never thought about that.
Whenever they went out there, it was as flat as this tabletop. And they practiced on it that afternoon, and then the next day, I went up there. He said, don't take nothing to straighten it back up.
No.
Just break it down a little bit and you got it smooth.
Didn't we talk about getting a, like a better conditioner, or things we're working up the diamond and stuff?
We have one.
There is one over there, and now that we got to play with it more this year than we ever have, and for what we got out there now, that thing is a cat's meow. I'm telling you, you sit there and adjust it to where, I mean, you have some air, it was smooth.
You just, where it brooms it,
I know we talked about it, I don't know.
yeah, it's working right.
He borrowed that tractor with them turf tires, it don't leave no tracks, and this one we got will do the same thing, we won't have to borrow it, and it's gonna, plus it'll run the sweeper.
That's what we got it for, the sweeper and.
It's gonna be a great, two ball fields, it's better than they ever run.
Just from the
Hopefully
road,
like
nice.
Hopefully like them, but we worked on them a bunch.
I wonder where it was Josh, talking to Josh, when he was practicing on it, and then the next day after they practiced, 2 days in a row, they still like to
that stuff, it takes it a couple of years to,
Compress.
yeah, get down there, and we got a little extra, but each time we go up there, and the more they use it, it ain't never gonna really compress it, because that's the whole idea, you want the base underneath the clay, and then that stays loose, and then when it rains on it, you take that broom, go around it one time, and you're ready to play ball again, that quick.
But if you haven't been over there, they look real nice. They're both fields. The school done a whole lot more to theirs. And they put over 3, they put 7 times the amount of field on their field over
72 loads.
there, 72 against 9. It's cheaper, we got, gonna be in it for 25,000. Something over, about 25.6. We've been approved for 19,000 something, or $20,000. The one, so, I called Josh and we got that order, said it'd be about 30 days.
What was our price, was it about
It was 6.
600?
It's a, you can figure it up, computer, it's a 75-25 grand.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We gonna split that 3 ways, or we take it out of general fund?
We can split it, cause it'll be used,
That's
general
what-
fund, streets.
That's what I was thinking, it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't kill one, that's a good idea,
That's
really.
what it is, yeah.
Even the cemetery fund.
Oh, yeah. Because
Yeah.
wherever we gotta go,
Wherever you gonna use it.
4 ways.
that's what we bought it for, but during the ice storm, boy, oh, Lord.
Use it everywhere.
Well, you look at the limbs right now.
Right now, whenever we cutting back any streets, we just hook it to the dump truck and turn the blower to where it just goes in the truck. The shavings, the chippings will be put, dumped back here for this tree somewhere, generator for this building. And I met with Bob Bowman this morning. Just a ballpark figure for a 60 kW and everything hooked up is around $30,000. And if you look at the switch boxes back there, the breaker boxes, Junior and Steve was in today and I showed them but these 2 boxes. And they control this part of the building and that part of the building, each box. To separate it to where you just divide up this half of the building, not do the other would, labor intensive would really be a bunch, because you'd have to go through, get another box, get everything switched over for this one, and it'd take the same, like a transfer switch, it'd cost about $4,000 for this building to stop any, if you turn that generator on, you throw that transfer switch and it keeps anything from going back out on the lines. And we turn everything in. Bob said, and we looked at a price of a 60 kW generator, Generac like we've got, and it's about $17,000. The time you get everything else done, the labor and the wiring. I think on these other 2 generators that we put in, the wiring was something like $5,000 on that, so he said that if you work on this work on it with the idea of a $30,000 budget, and it would probably come in less. But, so we can, I can check with White River and see if there's any grants available, that we can
Yeah.
do something like this.
At one time, I recall the city, not just us, but they had some kind of disaster preparedness plan where like a lot of the churches would house people, but I don't think any place has got self-sustaining generators except the nursing home and the hospital and the fire department. And I know that's a lot of money and I don't wanna spend it all at once, I prefer to look like you say for grants. But if you look at the size of this building area plus the library, you could shelter a lot of people in here in an emergency situation. Plus with the kitchen to feed and everything, so I bet.
This kitchen wouldn't even start, but the food room does have a kitchen, and it's health approved, that can.
Well, I'm saying in an emergency, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, you put a lot of people sleeping in here in an emergency.
Now, if we do this, that's gonna be permanent mounted, right, right out here?
Yes, it would be mounted right outside and at that end of the building and hooked up.
Well, I'd like to say that it never happened again, but just sure you don't prepare it. And that, I don't remember who brought it up, but it was Bible. I mean, it was a pretty good point, I think. That, like here in the high school, there wasn't no place for everybody to go to, for a hub to send people out. And this is the hub of the town.
The natural headquarters.
So, I'm like he said, I don't wanna drop 30,000 if we don't have to, we can get some grants, but I still think we need to try to get that, because see now, we ain't gonna run out of water like we did last time. Was it 2 days, we run out of water, 2-3 days, we won't run out of water, so there's a panic you saved. And if it is something like that, and you don't have, at least they can come up and warm up, you know, or come up here and feel like, hey, there's something happening, you know. You still have electricity, more than likely, the phones will be shot, but
I'm like you, if there's a disaster, sometimes it might be 10 days before they get power back on, or 2 weeks.
that's the first
There's
time.
no place to work out of to send crews out even.
That's the first time in my time that I've seen Mountain Home blacked out completely. And, you know that they're gonna go to them before they come to us.
Well, we didn't get a whole lot of help last time.
But that's what I'm saying, the more prepared we are to take care of our people, the better off we are. And like I said, with the water deal, I'm very comfortable with that. That's good money. That's good money most days.
And we've already used them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they come in handy already, I mean, you know. I'd like to move forward with it, but I'm like Steve, now, if we can get some help, come on with it, but we really seriously want to consider doing it.
Just continue looking.
I wanna put regardless at the bottom.
Yeah.
I'll check into some availability and grants. Stacy and I are going to a meeting on grants.
Good, that's a good deal.
We're one employee shy, water and sewer. Bob quit, went to board meeting. We have advertised for people to come in and fill out applications, and we have few look through them and haven't picked anybody yet. So, right now, I can't say what we're gonna do.
This is just something I wanna throw in the air about this. I don't know how everybody else feels, but next one we hired working in water sewer, I think they ought to work a little while before we start paying for schooling for them. You know what I'm saying, a year? Does that sound feasible, or is that too much?
No, I think it's.
That's a lot of money to send somebody to
Yes,
school.
and then they wander off somewhere.
And you'll generally find out in a year if they're really serious, you know.
I agree, 100%.
I think we ought to look at that pretty strong, because
Steve mentioned that.
well, that's a good, somebody said something the other day, and I thought, that's a good idea. Don't mind training them and all that, but, seems like we've lost a couple that way, and
Had two that I know of.
let's slow things down just a little bit.
Are we gonna get summer help? More stuff this summer? Or where we at with the prison help? We're gonna be able to use it a lot this summer?
I don't know how much. I think Paul told me last week he's got another week scheduled this month here in Calco. One thing we want to do is replace that culvert on Old Off Road.
So
Ron
we went
Flowers.
out and cleaned out that day?
Is it the one that's got the hole in the top?
But I talked to Jackie about it, talked to Paul. We can take a crew out there, it's concrete culverts, and we can either, depending on the length of time, we can do half of the time, because we're doing two culverts together. But we do have that planned.
Are you wanting to try to work on that bridge during that time, or?
Yes. We've got two new firefighters. We just, joined our 2 younger fellas, they'll be starting training next Monday. I think we've got, what, 23? Something like that. Is that right? 23 firefighters. Irrigation,
I think he's still working on it.
I get some wiring to do yet.
Any other questions on water and sewer, park, streets? Use any foundation? Which, and I've talked to a few people, a lot of people really like that.
Yeah, they do.
But
I
it's
kinda
not-
like that myself.
But it's really not for us.
Right, it's not.
Well, did I hear a rumor that the, Booster Club is gonna redo the, championship signs
Yeah.
and stuff? So maybe we wouldn't have to put the pirate on.
Well, we could get some individual signs with just a big pirate on it.
Well, this other one, the riverboat was
Yeah.
pretty nice too.
Oh, great.
I like that.
This one, and what Stacy and I have been talking about is take this riverboat,
Where the pirate was.
put it on this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there, to be down there by the museum.
Yeah.
These are, and what I have is what, Army surplus, and I've got metal, sheet metal, real thin, still. It's 3x8 sheets. Jimmy Wayne said this would fit right on. It's galvanized metal. Gonna clean them up good, and different people, some says denatured alcohol, and some says vinegar. Vinegar takes a film off of that. And then at Western Auto or True Value, I've got some galvanized primer coming. And then paint this white. This is thin, but we'll have to mount it on something, and I wanna go to those 4x8 sheets is what's down there, and paint the border top and bottom. And then put this. This will be vinyl lettering. Jimmy Wayne said we can set it all up at her building. And then just take it over and screw it to the, so. And I got that sheet metal for $40 a piece. So, 120, I
I
think.
think it's around.
Yes, sir. I had hoped to come before you tonight with a real big announcement, but I'm not able to do that yet. So I asked to be on the agenda speaking to billboards. I do want to say you're talking about the generators and places to house in case of disaster. The nursing home is always available for those types of things, and we get a lot of costs and so forth. I'm asking the board to pass an ordinance against billboards in the city limits. You don't have to go very far from Calico Rock to see what these look like in other communities. Personally, I do not like them. So I'm just asking that you consider this, think about it, and see that if it's not something that we you as a board should pass an ordinance to do. There are only two in the city limits now. And if you wanna make it retroactive, I'll be the first to take ours out there and be glad to do it. I just really would like the city to come out. It's not without its problems, however, because I've seen Mountain Home fight this battle for a long time. They finally come up with how far off the ground and how big they can be and all kinds of stuff, and if a billboard can be next to the business and so forth. My only request tonight is that you consider the billboards, and when I think about them, I'm thinking about the size of the two that we have in the city limits of Calico Rock. Think about an ordinance prohibiting the billboards in the city limits. Any questions? Self-explanatory, I think, and all you have to do is look at them as you come by, and personally, I don't like them in the city limits, and I would like to see them,
Do you
I'm not
know-
asking for.
Do you know who owns those perchance? Do they belong to you? You said you take yours out. Are you talking the two out here on Highway 56?
I don't know whose property both of them are on, it's mine.
Okay.
So that's all I think.
But you don't know what company has them?
Yes, I do, out in Harrison.
Out Harrison?
I can't call the name of it, it's kinda out in Harrison. But they do not, I mean, they don't own, they own the billboard itself, but they
it's
do
on
not
their
own
land.
the right to put it there unless I tell them it's okay to do it, and, that can be stopped. But, you know, that's just one small place too.
Right.
Consider, the other places in this community that, could be, in my mind, destroyed with that type of thing, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. I go to other communities around us and see them, I don't like them, and, like I say, if you wanna make it retroactive, I'll see that mine comes down first and be glad to do that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Consider that, please.
Connie, a quick question. Could we make it retroactive to make somebody take them down? I don't think so.
No.
They'd be grandfathered in, they'd take it down voluntarily.
But what about if it's on his property? He says, I don't want them on my property.
He can revoke permission for them.
Okay, so
It's on his
if we
property.
said no more signs other than the ones existing, if he revokes permission, then they're gonna have to go.
Right.
Dean, do they lease the property or you just give it to them, let them use it or?
Well, I just let them, of course, do it with my signs. They give me 3 months, I think, free billboards to allow the bank to have theirs on my property. That's the only concession there is. I'd be glad to give that up. I'd be glad to give that up. I can't tell you the feeling of the bank on this, I don't know. I have, some months ago, I projected that, Danny and I talked about it a little while, and I can't speak for him, so I'll leave it there. We did discuss it for a while.
I kinda like the way the view is in Calico Rock. I sure wouldn't want any more coming in, but that's never been an issue, so.
You can
That's
see
something we
what
can
it
look
could be
into.
if we had, 10, 15, 20 of those within the city limits, I just think it'd be a disaster. I ask you to consider that, and there are ramifications to it, I know, Mayor, and you may wanna, I suppose, talk to some others and see what they are, because I know there's been some talk at different other places about it, and okay, what size, how close to the building can I have mine if I've got a business and so forth. But it's nothing that can't be worked out, and I think it would be a real beautification project to the city of Calico Rock if you'd consider and do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Junior, you asked me a while ago, I'm not proposing a rate increase tonight. I'm just discussing it now. A couple of years ago, we changed to, we done a big water increase.
Probably hadn't been one done in 18 years.
Well, that was
And I had tried, I know 10, 12 years ago to get the council to, and Steve was against me. He has changed his mind
So
since
we
then.
did it back in 2009, and we did it, that's when we raised the rates in
Yeah.
2009. That was the first increase in probably 12 years or so at that time.
18, I believe.
It was a while.
What I'm saying, let's think on a small rate increase.
Yeah.
You know,
Instead of doing a big one down the road, let's do a small rate.
I agree with you, if we do them incremental, then it's not such a sticker shock or it's hard to everybody. We've got these tanks coming up to be painted and cleaned, that's gonna be, what was it per tank, Mayor? $60,000. The water and sewer for the first 2 months of this year is averaging over $6,000 negative every month. We've had a 12,000, if I'm reading the budget right, from the start of the year to now, we spent $12,000 more than we took in water and sewer. Am I looking at that right, Stacy? Actually, $12,831 over the last since the start of the year, so. If we continue to have negatives in there plus that $60,000, we're gonna be hurting pups.
Well, the other thing we have to consider too is we're gonna eventually have to do something with our sewer plant.
Absolutely.
We're spending, what, $1,500 every,
We've paid Smitty's once this year already, and that was 10,500.
and that's usually 4 times a year we do that, right? 3? But still. And I know Steve has been looking, he and I have been kind of looking into that, he more than I, but we have to update it before it's mandated.
Think, if we can raise the water rates, if we raise the sewer rates, we have to have public hearings, is that right, John?
I'm sorry, I did.
What is that, just the same across the board, like a 5% on everything across the board? Or?
But people understand that everything going up,
Yeah.
but and they can take it a whole lot easier in small value.
Yeah, I heard that, and I know it did it, I mean, but the thing about this, the one reason we had to go that much is we didn't qualify
For grants.
for no grants or no federal help or nothing. We done fell out of that window, and we sure don't wanna get that in that shape.
And if we can set up a program where this year and maybe the year after, you know, bring it up a little, say 50 cents for whatever.
Well, like she said, I think we're better off doing it on a percentage and just do it every 2 or 3 years. Look at it.
Yeah.
And then, do it every 2 or 3 years.
Because we all know, and even we on Social Security know, the cost of living goes up every year. Excellent.
I just wanted to bring that, let everybody start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Alright, say, Connie needs to be, before we sign it, one thing I'd like to read to you tonight. Says the parties agree that they are not entering into a legal partnership, joint venture, or other such arrangement nor is the purpose of the parties to enter into a commercial undertaking for monetary gain. Nothing in this agreement shall be construed to place a financial commitment or a obligation upon either of the parties. But I want Connie to take it home with her and read it. What I'm asking for of the council is okay for Stacy and I to sign this if Connie agrees to.
I'm gonna see, I'll say it again,
Yeah.
we need that really now.
Improvements.
You know, we talked
That's
about
gonna be
it.
nice the way they got it.
The land belongs to the city, where it's gonna be. And they have got, I think I read in here, $30,000 budgeted for this project.
We talked about it extensively last year, and I
So-
think it's something we almost have to do.
Yeah, we're way behind on
Well,
that.
that area needs some improvement.
And the way they're gonna do it to where it'll be nice where you can load your boat.
Kinda tough getting trailers in and out of there now,
Mm-hmm.
the way it's set up.
Now, is that, we had talked about, now, is that with the, handicap fishing area, or?
This is something, the handicap is something I'm still
That's-
working on.
Okay, I didn't know if that was,
They have said that it would be best to do it all at the same time. They didn't approve the money at that time, but I talked to, Tommy and David, Tommy Rand and David White last week. I went to the Capitol building and picked up that $5,000 grant for the parks. And I talked to both of them about this, and they are still working
Good.
on it, and I'll talk to them some more.
keep it right, so you don't forget.
Hopefully, it'll all be in the same project.
That would be nice, that would
And
really,
they do a lot of the work for them, that they sublet most of it. Galen White has, done some for them. And they have come up with a way of pushing them into the river. But they put a sheet of plastic down, heavy plastic, and then they put a layer of vegetable oil all over it. And then another sheet of plastic, and then they pour their concrete on top of that. And then when it cures, they push it and it'll slide
in the water.
into the water.
That's why they did that on Lindsay's.
Really?
Yeah.
So
That's cool. I gotta run and watch
Pretty
that.
slick, it's a pretty slick deal.
they have already, checked into it. If they let bids on this, they're gonna bid on it. They've done several for the game.
Yeah, when they redone
Do
that.
we need to
one
put that
before.
to vote for you, to have, give you permission, or?
Yeah,
I make a motion that we allow the mayor and Stacy to enter into an agreement with Fish and Game, provided that our attorney says it's a legitimate agreement.
Second.
we have a motion and second to allow Stacy and I to enter into agreement. Connie's, advice. Any other questions? Roll call vote.
Jackie,
Yes.
Linda, Bill,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Junior,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Push it on the shove, I got 32 holes. We can move mountains if we have enough time, can't we?
You have a manual letter?
It worked.
Anything else on new business? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I gotta